Hello YouTubers, this is Cessnaace back again with another video. Yes, I've still got this sound problem. I'm still working on correcting it. I've picked out a replacement sound card and I will be ordering it in a few days. Just been going through a lot of money lately. One of the cars needed some repair work done to it, and I've made another installment on a national VHD video disc player. VHD format was released only in Japan in the early 80s, and what's really cool about it is some of the players are 3D capable, and there's a switch where you can either activate or deactivate the 3D mode, which is really cool. And the videos that I've seen of them on YouTube, they produce just an amazing picture, especially considering that it looks like a downsized CED video disc, but the format is actually superior to CED. In fact, RCA, when they were about to launch the CED format, had gone to Japan, and they were trying to interest Japanese companies into partnering with them. They did manage to snag Hitachi, but one company they tried to court was JVC, Victor, and they were unable to. In fact, Victor had a superior format, VHD, that they wanted to show RCA, and they did, and RCA passed on it. I think that if RCA had put their resources into backing VHD, and with all the advertising money they spent on promoting the CED format, the VHD format would have been big here. JVC had in fact built a manufacturing facility here in the US to manufacture the discs, but then they saw how poorly the CED format was selling and how poorly Laserdisc was selling, and they decided, well, the US market was not ready for a third video disc format. So it was never released here, but going to the Laserdisc Database, if you check it out, they've got over 1,000 VHD releases in there. So even though it was only released in Japan, there were quite a few that discs that came out for. Now, I'm holding here in my hand a fan because some people out there have complained that my videos sound like I'm talking through one. Kind of like this, I guess. Or is this worse? I don't know. How about that? I think it's just a lot of noise. Anyway, this only cost $5 at Walmart. We picked up a smaller one that's actually made out of metal at Walmart, and it was only $3. Okay, what I thought I would do is a series of videos where each week I do at least one video where I show 10 new video ads to my collection. And I can quite easily do that. In fact, I could probably do 2 a week doing that because I have so many videos that I purchase both locally and have shipped to me. I recently purchased 10 VHS tapes at the flea market. I purchased over 15 DVDs over the past week, and I've got 10 Laserdiscs coming and 7 CED video discs coming. I've got some CDs coming, some in Swedish, and I've got some video games coming. Speaking of video games, before I get to the videos, I have here a game for the Sega SC3000 or the Sega SG1000, which of course makes it compatible with my Japanese Master System. Pachinko 2. Pachinko, for those of you not familiar with it, there are some playvids, I think, that I have put in my playlist for, well, it's called Pinball and Pachinko, or Pachinko and Pinball, whatever it's called. Anyway, there are pinball machines in there, and there are Pachinko machines in there, and there are also some classic arcade games in there. So check out that playlist if you haven't already done so. And wait, Pachinko 2. I have actually owned 2 Pachinko machines in my life. I was given one as a teenager, for Christmas. Don't still have it, but anyway, a lot of people refer to pachinko as kind of the Japanese equivalent of pinball. Cartridge, unfortunately, no manual. Cartridge isn't in excellent condition, but it is in really good condition. So I'm building up my library of games for the Japanese Master System. I'll put that there. Big puzzle game fanatic. Labyrinth for the DS. I still think Puzzle Quest is the best puzzle game for the DS. I'm kind of addicted to that game. It combines puzzle game elements with an RPG. Okay, this is a siphon filter, the Omega strain for the PlayStation 2. And if it's a flying game, I'm down for that. This is Pacific Liberator for the Wii. Also at the flea market over the weekend, I picked up those other two Japanese ABBA albums that they were holding for me. If you don't, well, let me say this way. If you collect LPs but you don't collect Japanese pressings, I would recommend you do so because their pressings are better. They used a higher grade of vinyl than companies in the US did, except for classical releases. In the US, classical releases generally got the deluxe vinyl treatment, but pop music didn't. It was generally cheap vinyl, and it's the cheap vinyl that's more susceptible to the snap, crackle, and pop thing. In fact, I have in the past bought brand new factory sealed LPs, and they have snaps, crackles, and pops in them from the very first time I dropped the needle down, and that's indicative of cheap vinyl. Okay, this is one side of this. This is a 2 LP set. I guess you could say this is ABBA's White Album, except if it were the equivalent of the Beatles' White Album, it wouldn't say ABBA on it. This is the other side. The LP strip, strangely enough, is not wrapped all the way around, and I think that the logical explanation for that is it's in a gatefold jacket. If you had it all the way around, then it would break when you opened up the gatefold. Comes with the Brizzy bonus, which is lyrics to all the songs twice. First in English and then in Japanese. And I can't see a thing I'm doing. Okay. I'll put that there. Move my cordless phone because the phone always rings when I'm doing a video. Hopefully it won't this time. As those of you out there who know of my video collecting, I collect in a lot of formats, one of them VHS. And I have a really high opinion of Blackhawk Films. They used the absolute best source materials. They maintained their own negatives. They made their own positive prints. They did their own transfers. The quality of the blank tape that they used is just excellent. Blackhawk doesn't really exist any longer, but the elements do. They belong to somebody. I can't remember who it was. But whenever I buy a DVD or a Laserdisc of a silent film, I always look for the From the Blackhawk Films collection logo, because that means they use the absolute best source material available. This is sealed. 2 Buster Keaton shorts, The Lunatic and 1 Week. So I add that to my collection. This is based on an actual experiment that took place in Germany. 20 men selected, divided into 2 groups. One group was prison guards and the other was inmates. And apparently that experiment went totally awry, and they made a film out of it, or based on it, called The Experiment. This is in German with English subtitles. This one will probably not stay sealed because I'm kind of interested to see the film. This one I will keep sealed because I have no real interest in seeing it. I just wanted to add it to my collection. It's a documentary on the rap industry. It contains a lot of nudity and explicit lyrics, and so I probably will not be opening this one. The stall that I go to at the flea market that sells VHS, they charge $1 per tape, except for the ones that are sealed. They charge $2 for those. The Invisible Ray. They've gotten used to me doing this, pulling out each tape. There's a button on the side. Push the button in, hold it down, and carefully open the tape guard. And I inspect the tape to make sure that there are no creases and that there's not edge damage, which can be caused by a tape being rewound in a cheap rewinder or a VCR that is not properly aligned. Anyway, I always check that, and this last couple times I've gone to the flea market, I have come across 3 or 4 tapes that I would have bought, except they had damage. This is a sealed copy of Phantasm. I'll probably go ahead and open this at some point and watch it, if anything, to compare it to the Laserdisc that I have of it. The Laserdisc that I have of it is on the magnetic video label, and so it's really early in the format's existence. Spider, a David Cronenberg film. Not to take anything away from David Cronenberg, but I wish that John Carpenter was able to get films made as often as Cronenberg can. I'm a Carpenter fan, but unfortunately he doesn't have an easy time of getting financing. Classic movie. It was remade eventually, and it had been performed on live television before it was made into this film. Henry Fonda, 12 Angry Men. And I'm running out of time, don't you know? Banditas. The Batman versus Dracula. I told you. And Exorcist II, The Heretic. Until next time, stay awesome.